Everyone. So what is going on with EXP stock? NASDAQ stock symbol EXPI. Kevin Kaufman, we're getting all kinds of questions. What's happening?
Dude, first of all, it has been going off. It's been on quite the run over the last few weeks, right? And so you and I have been asked so many questions. You and I record a podcast once a week on EXP, kind of all things EXP, why we made the move there, and what our experience has been so far. And this question keeps coming up, so we figured let's record a podcast, but let's do it live as well on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, hey, how's it going? If you're listening on the podcast, hey, how's it going? You'll get this tomorrow on the podcast, but we're recording live here on Facebook. And so, yeah, this question's been coming up a ton, right? Like, what the heck is going on with EXPI? It was in the $8 range last month, and now it's well over $16 today. It's like $16.50 something cents at the time of this recording. So it's effectively doubled in the last month. That's significant.
Yeah. Well, here's my take on it. So I'm not talking about what I think the future of EXP stock's going to do in this particular video. But what I think is going on is that EXP World Holdings and their companies, right, are in the news a lot. So this is one of the misunderstandings of EXPI, EXP World Holdings. There are multiple companies owned by EXP World Holdings. eXp Realty has now exceeded 30,000 real estate agents, and it's obviously a major component of eXp World Holdings. But so is Virbela. Virbela is the technology that eXp Realty uses for their online virtual campus. And they're not the only ones. The Department of Defense for the United States of America uses Virbela technology to train, right? I believe Harvard and Stanford have some different departments inside their universities that use eXp World Holdings Virbela technology.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see lots of educational uses for this, but also, you and I talked about, due to the COVID pandemic, like the EXP, what we call our shareholder summit, which is a yearly event we have for all EXP shareholders and agents, was, it was canceled, if you will. It was supposed to be in April, and due to COVID, that didn't happen. But what did happen is we got to host it the next month in May, and we held it inside of EXP World, right? Virtual platform, and it was freaking awesome. Dude, 15,000 plus attendees. So I want to say it was like 75 different breakouts plus a ton of keynotes from the main stage. It was a really cool event, and we're not the only company using it. So yes, EXP uses it for its campus, for all of our teaching, like our 50, 60 hours a week of live education that happens at our brokerage. But so are many other companies. Recently, Dell Computers held an event inside of EXP World, or I should say Virbela, not EXP World, but actually Virbela, which is, their campus. And then we've had many other companies, a lot of them I couldn't name right now, but then
we formed a partnership with Event Farm, is I believe the name of the company, right? So they've been actually like promoting Virbela's technologies and allowing people to put on conferences in that. And then tell us a little bit about the big news with Microsoft and HTC that just came out in the last week or two.
Yeah, so there was, I'm probably gonna totally mess this up, but there was a deal struck with HTC, which is pre-installed software on computers, virtual reality suite, right? It's like 5 different tools that can be used for virtual reality purposes. One of those 5 tools was Virbela. So in these first set, I believe are going to be, I want to say it was China, and in third quarter is when they'll start being released on these PCs. So, I mean, talk about a big growth opportunity for EXPI, the holding company that owns both eXp Realty as well as Virbela and a few other companies.
Yeah, man, think about that. If I'm in China and I buy a PC later this year in October, November, December, maybe even, August, September, I'm going to get on my PC pre-installed a bunch of virtual reality, if you will, type programs. And part of that package has Virbela pre-installed. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody buying a PC in China is going to become a Virbela user. We're not trying to promote that here. But if you don't think for a minute that Virbela is getting more eyeballs on it and more people are starting to expose themselves to the technology and schools across the country and the world are trying to figure out how to safely send kids back to school here in the next couple of months, you're crazy. So I personally think we're seeing this stock run up not only because eXp Realty has had 2 profitable quarters in a row and is going to post a 3rd profitable quarter here as the 2nd quarter of 2020 finalizes, but also because Virbela is increasing their revenues and increasing their exposure across the world.
Yeah, so absolutely. What we've got is combination of the platform Virbela has absolutely taken off into the mainstream. Not too dissimilar than like you and I are using Zoom right now, right? Zoom's taken off as well. Like you go look at their stock price, and please, we're not giving stock advice. We're talking about our opinions here as to what we think has caused this rise in the stock price here over the last 30 days or so. And so, of course, I think the market is responding to that. And then to your point, looks like we're going to close out potentially a 3rd quarter in a row that's profitable. Let me be clear, net profitability, which means even after all things are said and done, and we write down the expense, or excuse me, we record and log the expense for the stock awards that are given to us as agents, because we are able to do that here in our company. It's still showing a profit, and it's going to be if it does turn out that way, it'll be the 3rd quarter in a row. I happen to know that we're closing a ton of transactions here this quarter, and I think a lot of investors, if you will, initially at the outset of this pandemic were obviously a little scared. Money was running scared from the stock market, and as it started to kind of warm back up, it's coming into the companies that they believe are more well positioned, not just for right now, but for the future.
Speaking of writing down stock purchases, I was able to buy a couple hundred shares of stock in May of this year at a price of $9.62. And I did that through what we call our agent equity program, Kevin. I get to buy the stock at a 10% discount over what it traded at in the last 30 days. So you can imagine I'm pretty happy today that $9.62 stock that I own, I got a couple hundred new shares of, is sitting in my stock account while it's trading at $16. And for those of you that don't understand, I could sell that today. I could instantly make $1,000 to $2,000 profit. However, I'm going to hold on to my stock because I like where this company's going. So again, these are opinions. This is not facts. I don't have the numbers on the 2nd quarter 2020, but I do know that our CFO and our CEO of World Holdings have come out recently and said that you can expect more of the same of what you've seen the last 2 quarters. So I think the health of eXp Realty, the sustainability of eXp World Holdings, eXp Realty, and Virbela are here to stay, despite what the naysayers may want to chime in with.
Yeah, I want to be really clear too. Like, let's give the disclaimer for that, for the haters here, because we're not saying the stock is always only going to go up. Like, that doesn't happen. Anybody who's watched any stock ever knows that there's highs and lows. Good news can come, bad news can come, and that the market responds to that. So this is not us saying, oh my gosh, the stock's going to go up forever. No, this is just simply an answer because we've gotten so many questions from a lot of our agent friends around the country about what is going on. Why is the stock going up so much? And of course, we don't know for sure. This is merely our opinions, but we believe we've got strong reason to believe that those are definitely driving forces in the growth of the stock price.
Yeah, I forgot to also mention NASDAQ, right? Like where we trade our stock actually featured eXp in an article of like top 5 buys or something like that. I may not have the exact verbiage correct, but they actually like highlighted 5 companies that they thought were good investments to make. I will say that. So you can go find that article. NASDAQ put that out in the last couple of weeks. So a combination of all these reasons is seeing the stock price grow. It's seeing the happiness, obviously, of both investors and agents. And I'm excited and glad to be a part of this ride. So, hey, man, 2 years at eXp. I think I'm going to be here a few more than 2 more years after this. It's been a fun ride. I think I'm going to stay if you don't mind.